Imagine a world where a father's drive home turns into a deadly ambush, unraveling a sinister vendetta fueled by a family betrayal and greed. What lies behind the facade of a seemingly perfect family could be your worst nightmare. Born in Toronto on October 9, 1972, Dan Markel's intellectual curiosity led him to Harvard Law School. He became a tenured professor at Florida State University's College of Law, where he made significant contributions to the discourse on criminal law, earning respect and admiration from peers and students alike. Markel's personal life took a pivotal turn on February 26, 2006, when he married Wendy Edelson, a fellow academic with a vibrant career in law and advocacy. Together, they welcomed 2 sons, enriching their lives and deepening their bond. However, beneath the surface, strains began to emerge, primarily due to differences in their career aspirations and where they envisioned raising their family. Wendy wished to move closer to her family in South Florida for support, while Dan was committed to his tenure in Tallahassee, leading to growing tensions between the couple. These unresolved issues eventually led to a divorce filed on September 10, 2012. The divorce proceedings unveiled a bitter custody dispute over their 2 young sons, with both Dan and Wendy seeking primary custody. The divorce, finalized on July 31, 2013, did not mark the end of the contention between Dan and Wendy. The custody arrangements, particularly the restrictions on the children's residence, became a contentious point that would lead to a tragedy. On the morning of July 18, 2014, after dropping off his children at daycare, Dan Markel returned home, unaware of the tragedy that awaited him. At approximately 11 a.m., as he sat in his car in his driveway, he was shot twice in the head by an assailant. Despite being rushed to the hospital, Markel succumbed to his injuries and was pronounced dead the following day, on July 19, 2014. The investigation into Dan Markel's murder commenced immediately, with law enforcement delving into the complexities of his personal and professional life in search of motives. The initial absence of clear robbery or forced entry indicators led investigators to consider the possibility of a targeted killing. Surveillance footage from the neighborhood played a crucial role early on, capturing a light-colored Toyota Prius lingering near Markel's home around the time of the murder. This vehicle, uncommon in Markel's neighborhood, became a significant lead in the case. The breakthrough came when investigators traced the Prius to Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera, 2 individuals with no apparent connection to Markel, but with criminal histories that piqued the interest of law enforcement. It emerged that Garcia and Rivera had been hired to carry out the hit, a plan orchestrated with connections to the Edelson family, though the extent and nature of these connections were initially murky. The case against Garcia and Rivera was built on the foundation of cell phone data, surveillance footage, and the testimony of Luis Rivera, who in a plea deal admitted to his involvement in the murder in exchange for a reduced sentence. Rivera's account provided a chilling narrative of the planning and execution of Markel's murder, implicating Garcia as his accomplice. On June 17, 2016, a Leon County grand jury indicted both Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera for the murder of Dan Markel. As the investigation unfolded, Catherine McBanua also emerged as a key figure in the case, accused of acting as the intermediary between the hitman and the Edelson family. On April 20, 2016, the FBI recorded a conversation between Charlie Edelson, Dan Markel's brother-in-law, and Catherine McBanua at a restaurant. On October 10, 2016, McBanua was charged with first-degree murder, solicitation of murder, and conspiracy to commit murder, highlighting her alleged role in facilitating the crime. Disclaimer: the following factors are only speculations and do not justify criminal behavior. Donna Edelson, Wendy Edelson's mother, appears to have played a significant role in the context of Dan Markel and Wendy Edelson's marriage and subsequent events. Donna Edelson's strong, controlling nature and her deep involvement in her children's lives could have created an environment where extreme measures to resolve conflicts seemed justifiable. The desire to maintain a certain social status or protect family honor can sometimes push individuals to take extreme measures. Ego might have played a key role for the affluent Edelson family, who thought they were invincible and could sway the law in their favor anytime they wanted. Individuals experiencing intense psychological distress, such as anger, resentment, or a sense of injustice, might resort to extreme solutions. This could have been the case in Wendy Edelson refusing to face the reality of the divorce. People may rationalize their harmful actions through cognitive distortions, convincing themselves that their actions are justified due to the perceived wrongs done to them. The pursuit of justice for Dan Markel culminated in a series of trials that captured the nation's attention. The legal proceedings focused initially on Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera, before turning to Catherine McBanua, accused of being the critical link between the hitman and the Adelson's family. In October 2019, Garcia faced trial, charged with first-degree murder in the death of Dan Markel. The prosecution's case hinged on the testimony of Luis Rivera, who had already pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in exchange for a 19-year sentence back in 2016. Rivera's testimony provided a detailed account of the murder plot, including the claim that he and Garcia had been hired to kill Markel. The evidence presented against Garcia included cell phone records, surveillance footage, and the testimony of Rivera. The jury found Garcia guilty of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder, sentencing him to life in prison without the possibility of parole on October 11, 2019. Catherine McBanua's role in the case came under scrutiny due to her connections with both Garcia, the father of her 2 children, and Charlie Adelson she was allegedly dating. The prosecution presented evidence of financial transactions linking McBanua to the Adelsons, including checks and cash deposits following Markel's murder. McBanua was found guilty of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and solicitation of murder on May 27, 2022, and sentenced to life in prison. On April 21, 2022, Charlie Adelson, Wendy Adelson's brother, was arrested and charged in connection with the murder of Dan Markel, a significant development attributed to the 2016 FBI recording with McBanua, revealing his involvement in the murder-for-hire plot. On November 6, 2023, he was convicted of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and solicitation of first-degree murder, and sentenced to life in prison. Donna Adelson, Charlie's mother, was arrested on November 13, 2023. The arrest was dramatic, occurring as she and her husband attempted to leave the country from Miami International Airport, heading to Vietnam, a country with no extradition treaty with the US. Donna faces the same charges as her son, as the evidence against them includes extensive phone communication, notably a week where Charlie Adelson accumulated over 35 hours on calls with his mother, discussing plans that range from creating trust for her grandchildren to considering fleeing to a non-extradition country. Her trial is due to start on September 30th, 2024. It is very hard to accept the fact that people who became your family at some point are out to mastermind your murder. How can a whole family sit down at the dinner table and meticulously plan your killing by hiring some goons? Ego must have been the central element, not only for Wendy Adelson to refuse the divorce settlement, but also for the whole Adelson family who thought they could bypass the law and take matters into their own hands. What about this wannabe mafia godmother who pulls the strings and then casually tries to hop on a flight to a tropical destination? How enjoyable was it to see her begging the officers not to arrest her? The verdicts so far have been very satisfying. All the thugs got what they deserved, especially that crazy bitch who wanted to make a quick buck but got the full extent of the justice system instead. Let's hope the old faces the real consequences of her actions for the sake of the Markel family.